How are we doing, my good friends? It's Sunday. It's not the Shiny Sunday stream, though. Something I've been meaning to do for a few days. I actually ought to have got something else out. I'm just realising I'm in my drawers and I've not got something else out because I'm doing a bit of a... I'm having a bit of a Pacman kick. So, Pacman. Not Pacman. Unofficially was Pacman, but in the UK... we knew these as Mini Munchman. And they were made by a company called Grandstand, or they were marketed by a company called Grandstand, even though they were actually just Tommy. Even if you look at the back, it says copyright 1981 Epoch Company. We of course have Pacman in the background, slightly flickering away. I love that lamp, but it's not very well. It's not very good at keeping a stable lighting. I think when they did the other things as well, picked that up today. I just saw it for sale. I thought I'm gonna have that. I quite like Snoopy. Reminds me of my childhood. Snoopy was not great, but what I'm here today to do, or for this first stream today, because of course there's a shiny stream at 7 o'clock. But what I thought I'd do is I thought I'd do a little stream because my experiences of Pacman, apart from the arcade machine, my first experience of Pacman was the Atari 2600 version of Pacman. Now, everyone knows what Pacman looks like in real life on the arcade. And unfortunately, the people at Atari thought that an absolute garbage port was acceptable. So the version of Pacman we got on the Atari 2600 was awful. And now the thing is, because it was the 80s and early 80s and expectations of games were lower, for a start, we knew the consoles were limited. I mean, for a start, the Atari 2600 had less storage, memory, RAM and everything than the Pacman arcade machine. Slower processor, because the Pacman arcade machine ran on a Zilog Z80 processor, whereas the Atari 2600 ran on a custom TIA chip. And then we had the we also had the problem where the Atari T2600's display mechanism was very different. So all Atari 2600 games have a certain look to them. What I'm going to do is I'm going to drop onto one of my other sources. This is going to go weird at first because I need to just turn on my sources. It's probably going to pick the wrong source. Right, so this is Stella. It might pick the wrong window because the game tends to run in a window. Oh, there we go. We've got it, look. Let me just zoom that down a little bit. Like the... I think it's that to shrink the window. Could be wrong. So this is Pacman. This is the original Pacman. Now, if you're getting the sound from this and everything works, it should be good. Let me just check. You don't seem to be getting the sound on that. Let me just check that. Because it's... I mean, the sound is truly awful anyway. So this is Atari 2600. This is the genuine Pacman that shipped in the early 80s. Yeah. The sound was awful. The AI on the Ghost is just chase. Look, you sometimes you even miss dots. And there are no cut scenes, there's no title scenes. Listen to the sound. And the other thing you'll notice as well, you should be seeing this as I'm seeing it because I do run my streams in 60 frames a second, but if you're seeing things missing, upgrade the bitrate on your Twitch app. It's very easy. I mean, the ghosts are very slow moving. The colours don't tally. Those ghosts are actually different colours. It's hard to see, I know, but the AI is just so easy to defeat. So that's it. That is Atari Pacman. The bonus pellet in the middle, when it appears, the lozenge, is beyond bad. and the tunnels from the maze have gone to the top and bottom of the map. As I say, the AI is so easy to defeat, it's unbelievable. Now, this game was written by Todd Frey, and I believe it used 4K of memory. But one of the big reasons why it's so bad is because Atari absolutely demanded of Todd Frey, the writer, that it had to have a two-player mode. Now, the two-player mode was seen as a big selling point because Pacman in the arcade had two-player mode. So it was seen as a big selling point to have this amazing two-player mode. But unfortunately, a lot of people at the time bought their Atari 2600s with just a single joystick. So yeah, this is the shit. Oh, there's the power palette. Look in the middle. So that is Atari 2600 Pacman. That is the standard Pacman. Now, what we can have a look at next is, after Atari 2600 Pacman, there was a bootleg, and a company did Ms. Pacman. And when they did Ms. Pacman, the unofficial bootleg, Atari basically went, no, you can't do this. Yes, it's an 8K ROM. Look, it's there. So the original Pacman, I believe, was a 4K ROM. So Ms. Pacman, on the other hand, prettied up the maze a little bit. Obviously, it's not quite the same game because Ms. Pacman was very different, but because it was 8K, we gained extra things. We got copyright messages. This is only 1 year later, bear in mind, but they didn't rush it to market. The ghost sounds as flickery, so we get a title tune in the style of Atari. We get more of a wacka wacka sound as she eats the pellets. We get sounds of... We get the rising tune. And this basically was a bootleg showing what you can do. And the ghosts have AI. So they are actually trying to cut you off. So that's Ms. Pacman. Which, yeah, I know I'm covering Pacman. Now, this is running on an emulator called Stella, so it runs pretty good. It runs even better now, because I've just upgraded my memory on my PC. I'm up at 40 now. Gone from 16 gig to 40 gig. So, I don't think Stella's going to be challenged, though. Bearing in mind, we're running stuff that ran on an 8-bit processor. But yeah, we get the proper blue ghosts. We get the flashing. We get the flashing white as they reach the end of their cycle, and that's Ms. Pacman, which is far better. Now we also had Junior Pacman, which was slightly later still. Oh, why is that running with debugger mode? Don't know why that's gone into developer mode. Ah, because we've got a problem with a file. Right, that's fine then. But I never really played Junior Pacman anywhere. Doesn't matter so much. But the one I'm here to show you is... This is... Pacman... written for a new generation, basically. So this is what happens when console's been out for a long time. Recently played. Console's been out for a long time. We're talking 35, 40 years on from when it was originally created. And somebody has learned how to develop it. Todd Frey actually given this version of Pacman his endorsement. So this is called Pacman 2600 8K V6. So first of all, this game could have theoretically come out in 1981-82 because it's got 8K storage, but listen to the difference and see the difference. It sounds like Pacman. The only thing I will say, it's that's a little bit odd. The Atari 2600 had very limited sound capabilities and didn't play notes, it played tones. So some of the notes are out of tune. You'll notice this in the title tune. There we go, that last note. But listen, we've got the siren. We've got the ghosts going to the corners, look. We've just got the turnaround. We've got the proper sounds. We've got all the proper AI of the ghosts. They've even scaled the Pacman movement to try and... Well, this is not one you'll remember from playing from the 90s, because this was only written a few years ago. It was basically somebody stuck to the challenge to see if they could actually make Pacman look and feel and sound like Pacman on Atari 2600. And this is what they came up with. And I have to say, if I'd have played this in 1981, I would have been absolutely stunned. I've failed there, haven't I? Yeah, inconceivably, this size cartridge was available in 83, 84, so they could have done it. But this is more like arcade Pacman. I've done a really bad thing. I've gone into the corner. When you go into Inky's corner of the board is a dangerous place. I'm playing on a keyboard as well. It's not always great. Each ghost has a corner of the board or the maze. Now, in theory, they shouldn't be able to go. So, oh right, he's still in. Right, they're now in chase mode. So they shouldn't be able to go up there. No, they can't. So even the movement is copied. So we've got the rules of Pacman being followed. I'm curious as to whether they've emulated the Pinky bug or fixed it. Because there's a bug in Pinky's movement. So all the ghosts are going to the corners of the board, look. And what you'll do is you'll see them flip round. It's always worthwhile, if you can, clearing Clyde's corner of the board. Because Pinky is the one who tries to cut you off. You can always do that to get Pinky out of the way. Use those passages there, because the ghosts can't go up in those. There's two places where the ghosts can't go up. This is the other one. So they're back they're back in their own modes. You get two modes for the ghost. You get, well, three if you get count scared. But you get scatter, where they retire to their own corners of the board. I shouldn't be able to stop there though. That were a bug. They can go down. It's not that they can't go through those areas. It's that they can't go up. When they go along the top of the top of the box, he can't go up here. He'll just pass me. The red one will go down, but basically they're chasing me around the box. So if I go there, they can't go up. Right, they're in scatter mode. So it's always worthwhile knowing what mode the ghosts are in. You'll see them flick direction. So we'll have a cutscene now. Ooh, tuning. So we have the cutscenes. And now we're on the Peach. So, see, they're in scatter mode. They'll go to their own corners and you'll see them flip direction. Now they're in chase mode. So it's always worthwhile using those bits of the tunnel to defeat the ghosts. If you can. Not like that, though. So that is the new Pacman. And that's what happens when Atari 2600 development continues well after the console stops being manufactured. The console was manufactured up until the late 80s, I believe. and then suddenly was discontinued, and that's people were like, yeah, we're going to keep writing games for this. So since it were discontinued, there's been some fantastic games released, and because we can now, obviously, we're not limited to price and memory as it was at that time, we can really go to town and people can make some new games. I have tried programming Atari 2600, I will say as well, and it's an absolute ball ache because you're using a technique called racing the beam all the time. You're not, there's no graphics memory, so everything that is generated on screen you have to do using the CPU. So there's no, you can't just like print this text here. You have to generate all those individual dots and pixels, and you have to use this four or five objects you can use. There's a ball, some sprites, and that's it. You're absolutely limited. In fact, it would be interesting to see. I'll just have a look now. I'll just reload it back up again because I can show you. There's a diagnostic mode in Stellar. If you do want Stellar, Stellar is free. It is a totally free app, and you won't struggle to find these games online. You won't, but you can download zip files with every single Atari 2600 game. So if I search Pacman, if I search the original first, if we have a look at the original Pacman, what we can do, if we go into the diagnostic menu, let me put the view back up. Come on, boot up. There we go. Go to the diagnostic menu. We go to developer. I think it's developer, video. Yeah, debug colors. And that puts the objects. So that's showing you what we're using to draw each area of the maze, whether we're using the background sprites or the foreground sprites. So you can see we're constantly reusing the same sprite again, because you're getting the same colour. You've got one sprite basically doing all four ghost monsters. Now, if I go to, for example, developer mode, go to video. So yeah, we've got the sprite that's being used for all four ghost monsters is Missile Zero. Is it Missile Zero? No, Missile is being used to do the power pellets in the corner. The video is the ghosts are on player 0. So basically, they're sharing one sprite between four things. So you only get one frame of. You'll actually get one frame of ghost per every 4 frames. So you're looking at 15 frames a second. So each ghost is only shown once every 15th frame, which is not good. Now, if we go to the new one, if we go to recently played, go to that one, and we look at what's going off, you can see all the sprites being reused. Look. So that's the sprites being reused. So we've got one sprite is drawing 3 of the ghosts, and the other sprite is drawing Ghost and Pacman. So look, when I go onto the same row as the ghost is, it starts flickering. Look, not flickering, flickering, not flickering. And that's what you had to do in the Atari 2600 all the time. So now both me and that ghost are flickering. If you notice, if 2 ghosts share the same row, they flicker, because they basically have to alternate frames. So yeah, imagine creating games with like no resources, which is what the people on the Atari 2600 writing these games were doing. They had nothing. They were writing in machine code, and they were writing with no storage, no memory, no nothing. 128 bytes of storage, of a memory, sorry. That's what you had. And in that you had to store things like the maze, the graphics, the game code, everything. Terrible, terrible times. Anyway, that's my mini stream for today, or my streamette. I'm going to call it. It's a little mini streamette. I may start calling them streamettes when I do an impromptu short stream like this. And I shall see you tonight for the shiny stream. I ain't got a clue what I'm gonna wear. Don't fancy full rubber tonight. I might just wear jeans and just cut it down a little bit. But I may just minimise a little tonight. I wore full rubber for a few weeks in in shiny streams, and it's lovely. But yeah, anyway, I shall see you later. About 7 o'clock I'll start at. I will put my intro on, because that intro works great, because it's a 5-minute countdown. So, you know, I'm fertling around with things and getting all my lights looking right and everything, and making sure everything's turned on. Ooh, must remember to turn those on. I've got some bisexual fairy lights. They're called bisexual. I've just tweeted about them, actually. They're from Asda, and they are the bisexual flag colours. Wonderful, eh? So I shall see you on the shall see you later on the Shiny Sunday stream. I am going to go do a bit of promo for that now. Catch you later.